Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And by the way, I also agree with your questions as well as your opening statement. I'd like to talk about Section 301, the 301 investigation, not the petition that you just accepted. This investigation has now been going on for 2 years, and it's my understanding that President Biden has recommended that there be a tripling of our tariffs on steel and aluminum for China, but that there may be some kind of an interagency disagreement between the USTR and Treasury about tariffs. And the question I have is, when are we going to get an answer? When will this investigation end and a decision be made?
Senator Crapo, I appreciate this question as well, because obviously this is something we've been working very hard on. Just a couple corrections. I think that what you are talking about is the review of the existing tariffs that we kicked off in the fall of 2022. So we're calling it shorthand the 4-year review. It's an unfortunate shorthand because it's a review that starts at year 4, not a review that lasts for 4 years, first of all.
Understood.
To your point about 2 years, it's really been about a year and a half. But given the president's calling on USTR to consider specifically the tariff adjustments on steel and aluminum trade with China, I think that you should take that as an indication that we are in very, very advanced stages of our interagency work, and that I expect that we will come to conclusion very soon.
All right, I appreciate that. I hope that means very soon. Next, as you know, the National Potato Council expressed disappointment with how Japan's ban on U.S. potatoes appeared in the national trade estimate because it didn't capture the full extent of the problem. A number of your stakeholders also took issue with this year's NTE because of your decision to cut out a number of trade partners by seeing if they were in our trading partners' their barriers, by seeing if those barriers were in their public interest. Did you take the opportunity to discuss the ban of U.S. potatoes in your recent conversations with Japan?
Senator Crapo, now this is an area of shared interest and dedication with respect to potatoes and Idaho in particular. Yes, absolutely. USTR has raised market access for table stock potatoes in all 4 meetings of the U.S.-Japan Partnership on Trade. Most recently in December of 2023, we will continue to press Japan to advance the request in a timely and science-based manner. And I also want to let you know that in the person of our very dynamic ambassador to Japan, Ambassador Emmanuel, USTR has the strongest and most active of partners in advancing this particular issue.
All right, thank you. I'm betting that Oregon potato growers agree with that. And we urge you to continue to raise this issue. I want to move on to digital services taxes. Recently, when you were asked about discrimination against U.S. technology companies, you said, how many of these American companies are actually really American companies? Because they are actually paying taxes there as opposed to paying taxes here. Actually, those companies pay billions of dollars of taxes here, but they are paying more overseas because of digital discriminatory tax services, or DSTs. If you feel that it's problematic that U.S. companies are paying more taxes overseas, will you then commit to this committee that you will actually take action against DSTs rather than just consider it? And if countries continue to move forward on implementation of their DSTs, will you take action?
Senator Crapo, with respect to these tax issues, this is one of those areas where I've always got to acknowledge the jurisdiction of the Treasury Department, although Senate Finance gets jurisdiction over both tax and trade. I think one of the challenges, as I understand it, working this issue is reflected in that Pillar 1, Pillar 2 negotiation that Secretary Yellen has led to address that arbitrage over international minimum taxes to try to level the playing field. So I know that this is part of a larger conversation. With respect to USTR, our role in the digital services taxes partnership with Treasury is really triggered around the architecture of a lot of these DSTs, where USTR has run Section 301s, assessed discriminatory impacts of these DSTs, and moved forward with respect to articulating possible sanctions. Those sanctions remain suspended. They remain part of our toolkit, and we remain in very close touch with our Treasury Department colleagues and in monitoring what is happening in these jurisdictions. So just to assure you that we are looking at this very carefully, and we value our tools with respect to the leverage that they give us in leveling the playing field.
Well, are you
for our
telling me
companies.
that Secretary Yellen is the one I should be asking this question to?
What I'm telling you is that with respect to DSTs, it is an issue where USTR and Treasury authorities are both implicated.
I think I understood you to say you're still looking at it.
We are prepared to use the tools that we have.
I hope you do.